All right, guys, I told you in my last video that I would share with you guys how I planned out the girls' curriculum for the entire year. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you in my planner exactly what I did. I'm gonna warn you, I am a numbers girl, very numbers driven. So I have lots of numbers in here, but I'm gonna explain that to you as I go through it. So let's flip it around and I'm gonna show you the whole year for us. All right, guys, so here is my school nest planner. I'm gonna link the video below where I talked about our plan as far as like the 7 weeks on and the 8th week off. I'm not gonna go over that. I'm not even gonna pull out all the curriculum, but just know the table was full of curricula and I had to work through the process. So let's start with science. The first thing I did with science is our plan. I asked the girls what they wanted to know. We are currently doing plants, and based off of the amount of days we have left, how many days we're going to do it, we will be done with it on September 15th, 4 times a week. This includes taking the week off for our week number 8. And then we're going to move on to our planet, and we will be done 12:15, 4 times a week. Heat and energy will be done 3:22. This is now 2024, and it's 4 times a week. Science was really easy. However many lessons we had, how many days we were going to do it that week, and then just count the amount of time. And that allows us to get in all of these units. I have question marks here because this will take us into June, and we are not supposed to school in June. So we may put off the animals and add in the Add the Wonder, which I just did a flip through of that curriculum as well. I'm going to link it down below, but this will be a perfect for us because each one of the Add the Wonder units is 2 weeks, and that will take us into the middle of May, which is ideal. Okay, so here's what this is looking like for science. For history, we are doing America's Story 2. There are 28 chapters. We're going to do 2 chapters per week, and we started 7/24. We will end 11/3. That includes our 8 week off. We will have 2 of those sessions where we are out, and so we'll be done. Then we will go into America's Story 3, but we will not go into it until January 1, which is when we start again for the new year. Yes, on New Year's Day. I don't know about you guys, but we don't do anything on New Year's Day. And we will have had 2 weeks off that time anyway. So we're going to start January 1, and then we will be done with doing 2 chapters per week for America's Story 3. We will be done April 19th. That's how I did that one. Okay, moving on to writing strands. Writing strands beginning level, we have 11 lessons to do as of 7/31. And so with doing those, we do writing strands 4 days a week. It's set for you to do it 5 days a week. However, we're going to do it 4 days a week because 2 of those days my girls always combine and they do really well, and it's not too much for them to do. And so we'll be done with this on February the 2nd. All of the lessons. There are 18 lessons. Each lesson is 2 weeks. Then we will go into beginning level 2. I put intermediate, that's not right. Beginning level 2, there are 18 lessons again. This takes us in 2024, 2 weeks per lesson. We're going to start on the 5th of February and we will end on May 31st because that is when our school year ends. That will give us 14 lessons completed. And then we will probably start again July 1st, just as we did this year. And then we will be done August 2023. Now, this could definitely change, but this gives me an idea. Ideally, I would like to finish everything by the end of May. That's my cutoff. And then we'll pick up with the next school year. Now for Valerie, she is currently in Section 1 and there are 59 lessons remaining. 7/24 is when I did this, and so she will be finishing up 11/17. That's 4 times a week, so that's 15 weeks. Then she will go into Section 2, which is 130 lessons. She will start that 11/27. In this time frame, that is one of our weeks off, the week of Thanksgiving, so that's why there's a gap between those dates. And then this says 8/2. If there's a question mark here, it all depends. She will test into the lessons. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it even more for my girls' math, but she will test into Section 2. Because we're not taking a really long break, she doesn't need the several weeks or lessons of review. And so this will likely be different. I will reevaluate when we get to that November timeframe. Logic of English Foundations B. She has 11 lessons remaining. She will be done August the 11th. We do it 4 times a week. And then she'll move into Logic of English Foundation C. 40 lessons, 8 reviews, a total of 48 days if she does 1 lesson per day. And this, I'm calculating us doing it 3 times a week because I have already looked through Logic of English Foundation C and the lessons are a little long. She may be able to withstand doing all of that in 1 day, but just in case, I left a buffer. So that's why we're doing 3 days a week instead of 4 or 5 days a week. And this will take her from, let's see, all the way into January 12th of 2024, and then we'll move on from there. So now, here's the big kicker, this page right here. When I start talking about Brenna, she is moving into Saxon 7-6. There is a lot of review. She is currently taking the test. If she tests anything under an 85, that is where we start the lessons from. She is on test number 4. She will be taking test number 4 this week. And so we'll see how it goes. As of right now, she's taken the first 3 tests. She's gotten 100s on all of them. And that put her all the way up to lesson 20 that she doesn't need to do within this Saxon curriculum. So that knocks off 20 lessons. So that takes a significant amount off of her days. So once we start lessons, I will come into this space right here and I will fill that in with her projected finish date, which I think is going to be really good. I think this will allow her to do math like 3 days a week, and then she can do some other math 2 days a week, but we'll see how it goes. The same thing with Maggie and her Horizons 5. She is currently testing now, and she is also on test number 4, and she has gotten 100s. And that test number 4 puts her at lesson 25, I believe it is, lesson number 25. Anything less than an 85, that's where we start the lessons. And so once she gets less than an 85, or I see that there are issues with what she's working on, I will fill in for her to complete the lessons and have a projected finish for her as well. As I said before in my previous video, she doesn't have a whole lot of room, 181 days. That's pretty much the whole school year. And so by her testing into these, that does help her. I may even bump her up to a quarter test and do one of those. We'll see how it goes. But in the next couple of weeks, I will have an idea of when this will be finished and simply go in based off of how many lessons, investigations, tests they have remaining and take the total amount of days and split that up as to how many days we're going to do in the week. And that will be her projected finish. Easy Grammar was one of the ones that a lot of people ask me about because it does not have specific lesson. There is no plan as to what your child is supposed to do every day. So what I simply do is Easy Grammar 6. There are 347 pages. Some of those pages, you guys, are just instructional pages. And when I say some, there are quite a bit. For every different section or different part of speech, there is at least 1 to 2, possibly even 3 instructional pages within that section. So this is just simply a number of pages. There are 11 tests, and that includes like unit test and cumulative test as well. So I just did the number of pages, 358 pages. If I want her to be done by May 31st, she started 7/5, July 5th, then that's 32 weeks of school. So I take those 358 pages, I divide them by the 32 weeks, and on average, she has to complete 3 pages per day. Now, this is awesome because, as I said, there are a lot of instructional pages. No way is she going to go a day and only read instructional pages. If there's 2 instructional pages, then she's still going to do 3 pages of actual work, and that's what she's been doing. So in 1 day, she could possibly do 5 pages. That leaves a huge buffer for us when it comes to her curriculum. This also includes taking weeks 5 through 7. So we're going through our 8-week rotation. We take weeks 5 through 7 off because that way they are able to do their literature studies, okay? So during their literature studies, they're going to take 3 weeks to do literature studies. So that's taking this time off. And so that gives her a buffer here. She's going to be able to do some other things, more typing, more writing of stories, really getting into her literature stories, reading more books, anything that we need to work on grammar-wise, she's going to get an opportunity to do that. Daily grams is simply 1 page per day. There are 180 lessons within daily grams. So for her, because she started 7/5 and we want to stop 5:31, she's going to do an average of 6 pages a week. She can actually do more than that by choice. That's her choice. I just have her do 6 a week. If she does more and she's getting a great score on them, then it's not a problem. So she has done 2 pages per day for a couple of weeks now. I will have to recalculate that, but at the very least, I know she will be done by May 31st. So Easy Grammar 5, I did the same thing. It had 315 pages, 13 tests for a total of 328 pages. And this is for Maggie, my 5th grader. She will not start it until 8/14 because she is still working on Easy Grammar 4. If you have followed along, she did not start Easy Grammar 4 until January of this year because she was doing Winston Grammar all the way up until that point. So she started this in January, so she still has a little ways to go. So she will start Easy Grammar 5 on 8/14 if I want her to be done by 5/31. That is a total of 26 weeks of school, 328 pages divided by 26 weeks, and that gives her 3 pages a day on average. Remember, same thing I said over here. There are lots of buffer pages in there, lots of instructional page where they don't have to actually do anything. They just have to read the pages for instructions on the lessons. So I know that she will be done by this May 31st deadline. Daily grams for her, she will also start on 8/14, an average of 7 pages per week. So she could do 1 page a day, every day, Saturday and Sunday, and she would be done. This is all I plan out for the year. I don't worry about art, nothing for geography, nothing for our Spanish, no vocabulary, no spelling, none of those things. We are just going to simply focus on these specific areas because I like to finish our work.